It was raining that afternoon in the city, one of those soft, moody rains that seemed to wash away yesterday's troubles but bring a little loneliness too. Emma sat by the window of a small cafe called Cinnamon and Coffee, nervously adjusting her scarf. It was supposed to be her first blind date in years, set up by her best friend, who swore this man was kind, humble, and sincere. But all Emma could think about was whether her cheap shoes looked too worn or if the tear in her bag was showing. She hadn't been on a date since her last relationship ended 2 years ago after her fiancé left her when she lost her job. He had said she was too heavy to carry. Those words still stung whenever she remembered them. Since then she'd worked 2 part-time jobs at a bookstore and as a night cashier to keep her little apartment and pay for her mother's medicines. Dating had become a distant dream, something she thought people like her didn't get to have. The bell on the cafe door jingled. A tall man walked in, mid-30s, sharp jawline, kind brown eyes, dressed in a navy sweater and jeans. He didn't look like someone who owned an empire, yet his quiet confidence drew attention. He scanned the room, spotted her, and smiled. "Emma?" he asked softly. She nodded, shyly standing. "Yes, you must be Ryan." He extended his hand and his warmth instantly put her at ease. They sat down and for a moment, silence hung between them, awkward but sweet. The rain outside tapped gently on the window like nature's heartbeat keeping rhythm for their conversation. As they talked, Emma was surprised at how natural it felt. Ryan asked about her favorite books, her dreams, and even her fears. He didn't interrupt or judge, he just listened deeply. She laughed more than she had in months, and when she talked about her mother's illness, she noticed the sadness in his eyes. It was as if he understood more than he said. "Sometimes," Ryan murmured, "we meet people by accident, but they end up being the ones who teach us how to live again." Emma smiled, not knowing how true those words would become. When the waitress brought the bill, Emma's stomach twisted. She reached into her purse and froze, her heart sank. She had forgotten her wallet. She felt her cheeks burn with shame. "I'm so sorry," she stammered. I think I left my wallet at home. I swear I'll pay you back." Ryan gently placed his hand on the bill and smiled. "It's on me." "No, please," she whispered, mortified. "I don't want to start off like this. I'll feel terrible." But his tone was calm and reassuring. "Emma, sometimes kindness isn't a debt, it's a gesture." Her eyes welled up. In that small moment, something shifted between them, not romance yet, but understanding. She didn't know he was the CEO of a multinational company, one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the country. He didn't tell her because, for once, he wanted to be seen not for his money, but for who he was beneath the title. After they left the cafe, he offered to walk her to the bus stop. She hesitated but agreed. They stood under one umbrella as rain drizzled softly around them. "You know," she said quietly, "I almost didn't come today. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough for someone new." Ryan looked at her, his eyes deep and kind. Maybe someone new was just waiting for someone real. When the bus came, she smiled and said, "Thank you, Ryan, for today." He nodded. "Maybe next time, coffee on you." She laughed, "Deal." As she boarded the bus, she didn't know that the man who just paid for her coffee was the very CEO she'd been scheduled to interview with the next morning, for a job she desperately needed. The next morning, Emma stood in the glass lobby of Northstone Holdings, clutching her portfolio, heart racing. The receptionist asked her to wait. When the elevator opened, her breath caught. Ryan stepped out, wearing a crisp suit this time. Her mind went blank. "Mr. Hayes," the receptionist greeted, "your next appointment is here, Ms. Emma Carter." Ryan smiled, a flicker of surprise but also warmth in his eyes. "Thank you, Claire, I'll take it from here." Emma felt her legs tremble as they entered his office. "You're the CEO," she whispered. He nodded gently. "And you're the woman who thought she couldn't afford coffee yesterday." Her cheeks flushed. I didn't know. I feel so stupid." "Don't," he said softly. "I didn't tell you on purpose. I wanted you to see me as a person, not a title, and I saw you for who you really are, kind, sincere, and strong." They sat across the massive desk, but somehow the distance between them felt smaller now. He opened her resume, but instead of reading it, he looked directly at her. "You've been through a lot, haven't you?" She nodded. "Just life, I guess." He smiled gently. "Then you'll understand this company better than most. We need people who have fought for something." When he offered her the job, Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, voice trembling. "Just keep being who you are," he replied. "That's enough." Over the weeks that followed, Emma proved herself dedicated, creative, and thoughtful. Ryan watched her from afar, never giving her special treatment, but his admiration grew each day. One evening, she stayed late finishing a project. He walked in, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "Thought you might need this," he said with a smile. She laughed. "You're trying to make me owe you coffee forever, aren't you?" He chuckled. "Maybe, or maybe I just like sharing moments with you." That night, they talked long after work hours about dreams, fears, and what it meant to start over. Ryan confessed how lonely success had become, how he'd built everything except a reason to smile. Emma listened, her empathy melting the walls around his heart. "You know," she said softly, "maybe sometimes life just wants us to meet at the right table, even if it's over an unpaid bill." He smiled, eyes glistening. Maybe it was never about the bill, maybe it was about finding someone worth the cost. Weeks turned into months and the bond between them deepened. Emma's mother recovered thanks to her new stability. And Ryan, once a man who measured life in profit margins, found himself bringing her flowers on rainy days just to see her smile.